an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. Let's go. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want to ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
We're here for Detroit Lions news and rumors here on Lions Nation Unite. Sorry for a little bit late start. Dan Campbell had a press conference. I had to make the videos, so I was trying to get that out as fast as humanly possible. And we're going to talk about that. We'll do some QA, and we got the NFL Combine starting on Thursday, so we're excited there. But Dan Campbell did have a press conference, so we're going to go through that here. First, Nine Drinks, what up? I just seen your text. I was literally just getting it done. Kurt, what's going on? Josh Jackson in the building. Again, if you have not watched, Dan Campbell did a press conference, a little over 20 minutes there. Really cool that Chat Sports was there covering it, so I'm able to drop that video for you guys, literally the press conference, because they're the one that they were there doing it. So I dropped that on my personal channel, and the reaction to it will be dropping at 3 p.m., so in about 2 hours here, and then you'll see that. So appreciate everybody coming in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, all of that lovely stuff, as we talk about our beloved Detroit Lions. Also, just a little bit of news here for personally. Last night, I was on Crunch Time, so check them out. Jeff Iafredi and Booner and those guys. And next week, 3 days, I will be hosting the huge show with Eric Zane. Really excited about that next week. So you're going to want to check in for 3 hours on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. I'll be there doing the whole thing. Yahoo! ESPN Radio. So that's cool. Let's get to this press conference, though. A lot to talk about here. First off, these guys got to get better volume. The announcers that are talking, man, guys, get a microphone for them. You can barely hear the questions. At some point, they got to do it so we can actually hear. So it's thankfully I had guys there from Chat Sports to tell me what was going on, because it was hard for me to understand the questions. So they talked about here, building a team through the NFL draft is the biggest part towards building a great roster. They asked about that, and Dan Campbell, that's what he said. And he's correct. You build a roster through the draft. 95%, I say, would be the NFL draft. Okay, you got to get your players through the draft. About the microphones, yes, I haven't seen it. I know, it's Thomas. It's cray. You got to build through the draft. So I know people get upset if we don't get this high-end free agent, that high-end free agent. I get it. Cool. It's cool. But you build it through the draft. Look at our cornerstones. Penei Sewell, St. Brown, Lee McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, Afutu Melifonwu, Brian Branch. There is a connection here. They're all through the NFL draft. Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker. Draft. So you can get lucky every once in a while, right? You can get a Glover Quinn or a Golden Tate, but it's rare to get like cornerstones through free agency. So just caution with it. They know what they're doing. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell know what they're doing about building this roster. I know 97 won the ticket. They want everybody they want all the money spent in free agency. That's not going to happen. They're going to take that money and they're going to sign their own guys. They may get one good big fish, but they're not going to sit there and sign Chris Jones and sign Josh Allen, then sign, I don't know, L'Jarius Sneed. They're not going to sign every top-rated guy in free agency. That would be a terrible decision for a franchise, because the contracts would crush you at some point. So you got to do it cheaply. And you got to do it through the draft. So I 100% concur. Always been like this. And that's why this team's good. You'll wonder why this team is good now under this franchise compared to regimes past. It's all about the draft. Ben Johnson coming back to the Detroit Lions, massive offseason win for offseason. That's the biggest offseason move. So even with free agency coming up, even with the draft coming up, the biggest offseason move was retaining Ben Johnson. Huge victory for the Detroit Lions. I concur. Man, oh man. We're never going to guess who Brad signs. That's his thing. Yeah, let him do his thing. You don't want to. Here's the thing. As a content creator, it sucks that you don't know what he's going to do. You have to guess. You have to really look into everything. You got to look to figure out what they're going to do in free agency, in the draft, and who they're going to select. It is nearly impossible for a content creator to figure out. But that's a good thing, because that means it's probably difficult for other franchises to figure out what the Detroit Lions going to do. You don't want to know what they're going to do. That's Bob Quinn. Everybody knew what they're going to do. Hell, I could guess half their draft picks. You don't want them to do that, because that means other teams know what they're going to do. You can't figure out what they're going to do. And so other teams are going to have an issue. That's important. Dan Campbell reflects on the NFL season, what went well and needs to improve. Yeah, he knows what he needs to improve. He's not micromanaging. He's going to let the coordinators do his thing. Of course, you can improve. Everybody can improve. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Dan Campbell's not upset about how he managed the game in the NFC Championship game. He's not upset. And we're not in the NFC Championship game without Dan Campbell's aggressive fourth down plays throughout the NFL season and in the playoffs. He's aggressive. Good. I like aggressiveness. Love it. I like it. Now there's points where you got to slow down a little bit. If it ain't working, it ain't working. Don't do it. But he's pretty good. I like it. Folks, it's 70 degrees outside in the great state of Michigan. Talk about a victory. 70 degrees. Ooh, my God. It's going to be great. Great. So I like seeing that. See, Dan Campbell has changed how his franchise hires coaches. They're talking about Antonio Pierce and how NFL now is hiring coaches that were former players. Yeah, I think he did change a narrative, and other teams are looking towards the Lions way. Isn't that crazy? Other teams look towards the Lions way and how they hire and as how they manage the game. A lot of fourth downs now taking place because of Dan Campbell. A lot of teams are changing it up because of what we have done as a franchise. It's the Detroit Lions way. No longer, we need to be the Patriot way. No longer, we need to be the Ravens way. No longer that we need to be this way, that way. No, it's other teams say we need to be the Lions way. Awesome. Love it. The importance of depth for the Detroit Lions to maintain quality starters going down. That's what they're going to do in free agency, folks. Primarily, it's going to be depth and individuals that they can get for selected plays and in that nature. So depth is so important. So important. You're going to have injuries and they're going to go down. You need to have quality depth players. So they may not be the biggest names. Who cares? Who freaking cares? Right? It's, are you going to win in December? It's not about winning in March, just like Brad Holmes says. It's about winning December, January, and hopefully February. That's what it's about. That's where you want to win. And depth is the reason for that. Not much benefit from, they asked the question, is there a benefit from losing the NFC Championship game? I thought that was kind of a wasted question, if you ask me. Folks, is there really a benefit for losing a game? Not really. Let's keep it 100. It's, I mean, you can nitpick. Well, I could have done this call different. I could have done that. But there's really not much of a benefit from losing the NFC Championship game. There's really not. Maybe getting pissed off that you lost and now you got to go in and win it this up-and-coming season. That, I guess, is a benefit. But in all honesty, it's not much of a benefit. I would have asked, if I was at the press conference, first off, I'm asking specific questions about free agency and the draft. That's kind of what I would do. Not ask about the benefit of losing a game. I'm really not trying to be one of those guys that, hey, we lost a game. What's the benefit of it? No, we lost the game and it sucks. We collapsed in the third quarter, primarily. Maybe you could take a benefit of, how about you stop the mobile quarterback? Because Brock Purdy is the reason they won that game. He kept running on third. He kept running in third and fourth quarter and kept getting those first downs, unlike he didn't do in the first half. And that killed us. So maybe we can improve there. But in all honesty, not that much. So that was Dan Campbell's press conference. You can check it out on my channel. You can actually watch the press conference on my channel without getting copywritten. And that is huge. It is huge. So check that bad boy out. Dan Campbell's encouraged by Hendon Hooker's growth. Yes, he was encouraged by Hendon Hooker's growth, and I think we all should be. Hendon Hooker is not going to get traded. I don't know where this narrative has come from. Hendon Hooker's not going to get traded. We're not trading Hendon Hooker. I don't know how many times we got to say it. They like him. He's a cheap backup, and he's a great backup to have. You're gonna see him play in preseason, and you'll be like, "Ooh, I like what this guy is." Backups, getting a good backup quarterback is expensive. Not when you get one in the third round. Okay, so they're not gonna trade him. They like him. They're not doing that. Please, folks, please let's stop with this trading stuff. He's obviously encouraged by the new coaches that they hire. We'll see how well they do. I like the Williams hire. I think that the defense will get better. Did good job for the Titans, and so we need to get better on that defensive line. And I think that's what they're going to do. So if you got questions, let's just go ahead and throw it in the comment section right now. Jalen Reeves may have been re-signed with the Detroit Lions. I think that's good. Good. I know. And people were saying in the comment section, we paid too much, folks. No, he is all pro at special teams, and he can play defense. So it's a good, and he's fast too. So I like Jalen Reeves maybe coming back. I don't think we overpaid at all or anything like that. Happy it's just a 2-year deal. We got a special teams ace. Let's smile about it. Like, they're going to be paying their own guys, and that's good. I think Glasgow will be next to sign. Reynolds is yeah, I agree with you. I think Glasgow is the next one to be signed. It's only a matter of time because he wants to be here. It's not going to cost a lot. They can get this guy back here on a cheap deal for right guard, and then you'll be a backup at center. 100% agree with you. I don't even know about the Greens if he's even going to make the roster next year or this upcoming year. So who's your free agent guard that will replace Jonah Jackson? I would say, I'm not going to even say free agency. Dalton Reisner could be a backup. I think they get, if they don't get Jonah Jackson back, it's going to be a guard in the draft that will probably be your left guard. That's probably where it's going to be. You get one in second and the third rounds. We got 2 third-round picks, late second-round pick. There's some quality guards that you get that start right away. I like Beebe. He's the guy who I would like to put on this offensive line. But, yeah, if he doesn't come back, it's going to probably be in the NFL draft. That's where they're going to find their starting guard. So get ready for that. If they don't re-sign Jonah Jackson, they may get a backup. Don't expect them to, like, if they get a Dalton Reisner, right, or some other backup, don't think that's going to be the guy who's going to be left guard. They're probably going to draft a guy. So for sure. Second, third round, maybe a guy fell in late first. They could do that, or if they trade back or whatever. But that's kind of where I expect the Lions to get a guard. Probably second/third round. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense if you ask me. Again, if you got questions you want to ask, throw it in the comment section. We're going to have fun with this bad boy and get after it for shizzle for sure. And we'll get there. We're going to have a special guest on probably next week. She hit me up last night on Twitter, and I said I'll get her on. A little bit too late for it today. Extremely busy as well. Just insane amount. So the NFL Combine is going to be starting on Thursday. Don't take the scouting combine as the legit everything. Folks, we need to worry about play on the field. I was just talking to TA Raw Podcast about this. I think it was yesterday and today. NFL Combine's cool to see what they can get their 40 time, but these folks are in pajamas. Look at the tape. 95, I'd even say like 98% should be tape and the rest should be scouting combine because these guys are in pajamas. That's not how you play the game. You're in pads. You got a helmet on. It's different. The speed of the game is different than a normal run. Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't a combine warrior, but he's a hell of a warrior on the field. Aiden Hutchinson has smaller arms than normal. Does it really matter? No. So there's only, when I look at the NFL Combine, I kind of look at, like, if you're looking at 40 times, what separates one, if the one player is very similar to the other player on the field regarding stats and how they operate, maybe you can differentiate them from speed or something like that. But man, don't take too much into an NFL Combine. Just don't. Herman would tell you the same thing, right? It's about play on the field, and you can't really change the play on the field. The play on the field's good to go, and that's good to go. So go right there. But the NFL Combine is started on Thursday. We'll be watching it here. I definitely enjoy watching it. I definitely like to see the players run. It's a good way to get to know some other players that we may have not seen. And that's another thing as well, is guys who you could see maybe in the 7th or undrafted. Like, ooh, this guy kind of stood out a little bit. That's really about it. Let's see. A lot of talk about Miz guys being mentioned. What are your thoughts on Robinson and on D Robinson and corner Rickshaw? Let me get a little bit more. Again, I'm like a halfway. Don't really know right now. I'll definitely add that to my list. TA, if you're listening, go ahead and throw that in our chat about that. Help me out there. Not in the chat here, but in the chat behind the feed where we talk. Some brainiac was arguing with me because he was saying we should trade JMO. I'm thinking JMO contributes significant. Folks, we're not trading Jameson Williams. He's just getting his legs underneath him. What is the hate for JMO? I have yet to understand this. I kept saying it's going to take time for him. In the second half of this season, he really exploded. His route running and catching was exceptional. And he was making hard catches, physical catches. JMO will be just fine. He's a first round pick. So this will be year 4 or year 3 coming up. Then you got year 4, and then you could do the 5th-year option. He is going to be a cheap option, a great contributor to this offense as an outside receiver. He's going to be number 2. I heard that all last year. We should trade Jameson Williams. And I'm like, no, he will develop. And he was a big reason down the stretch our offense was taking that next step. Let's be patient with these guys. Derek Barnes, year 3. Afutu Melifonwu, year 3. Folks, come on. Like, what's up, Matt? Appreciate you coming in here. JMO will be getting more targets. He's got it. A very willing and good blocker. Yeah, he's a great blocker. Really good blocker, too. He's going to get his... with the hate on this guy. It's just, I don't know if it's where it stems from, but I understand he wasn't the greatest producer in year 1. Well, he was injured, and he was suspended the second year, first half. It just takes a little bit of time for some guys, and he developed. If you got questions, throw it in the comment section. For sure, get it done here for you guys. But yeah, we're not trading Hooker. We're not going to trade JMO. These guys are going to be part of this team, a cornerstone of this team. Why would you give it up? Just especially right now, we got Josh Reynolds and Donovan Peoples-Jones that are free agents. We don't know if we're going to, I'd like to bring them back, but we really don't know. And you got a guy who's really good, really fast in developing, getting chemistry with Jared Goff. Don't take it away. Do not take that away. JMO and Hooker are staying. Doug, get over it. Yeah, they're staying. I don't even know where this stemmed from. I would love to see the origins of these two narratives, because if you listen to Brad Holmes or Dan Campbell, you know that's not the case. They literally will tell you it's not the case. So this narrative's got to stop. It's not happening. They're not getting traded. Enjoy it. They're going to be focusing on getting free agents, not trading players. We have a lot of talent here, and if you want to get to an NFC Championship game, or if you want to get to a Super Bowl, you can't be throwing away this young talent. That's a terrible decision. That's an awful decision. So that's not going to be the case. It's just not going to be the case. What about DJ Chark coming back? He's not going to be coming back here. Yeah, that's what Jameson Williams, he took over that role, and now he is in that role. I like DJ Chark. I wanted the Lions to re-sign him to a 1-year deal last year. It didn't happen, and the Lions offense kept rolling anyways. So there's no reason to bring him back. We are good there. I like to bring Josh Reynolds back. That's really the Lions are good at wide receiver. That is the one position right now you don't need to worry about is wide receiver. Do not worry about it to the all. the Lions are good to go right there. They talked about the kicker position. Yes, we re-signed Michael Badgley. They're going to go ahead and get another kicker in the draft and or undrafted free agent. So get ready for that. JMO is going to be a nasty weapon next year. Yes, Nate V. I agree. I have him as my breakout player. So I actually I asked this question for a mailbag, and I'm going to give you my answer, but I think he's a breakout player. Read the tea leaves, and I'm more convinced that we are not going to spend any significant amount of money on free agents. Love the depth, but the roster, cornerback, and interior offensive line is not good. You have to draft and trust the rookies. Yeah, they're not going to go be crazy. I mean, they're not going to be finicky. They're not going to be like the Green Bay Packers, but they're not going to go out there and just get all the top guys. It's not going to happen. They may get a guy like a Danielle Hunter or some sort of corner like that, and then it's going to be depth. 1, 2, maybe the longest a 3-year deal. It's going to be the same what we've seen. They got money, yes, but we got to re-sign our own guys. So I think the biggest moves that you're going to see is Ali McNeil get re-signed. Maybe St. Brown gets signed to a long-term deal. Jared Goff gets signed. Those are going to be the big moves, and they'll get a guy in free agency. That'll be really it. But you expect them not to go gigantic in free agency. They'll spend. They're not going to be prude about it, but they're not going to be the Washington Redskins of pass. JMO should be the big reason this year. You can tell he's settled in this offense. Chemistry between him and Goff is improved 100%. And he's not a diva. Like he's like happy. He's a happy-go-lucky camper with his role in this offense. So, man, it'd be a dumb decision to do. I think releasing Reynolds is a bad idea. He and Goff are the S. He's not being released. He's a free agent. So we just got to re-sign him back. He's a free agent, so we're definitely not releasing him. But we just got to sign him back if they want to. Smash that like button. Absolutely. Should we bring back Vildor back? Yeah, I have no problem Vildor being back, being a 5, number 5 cornerback. Do I want him to be a number 2? Absolutely not. But he's a good depth piece, and he showed that this year, that he's a good depth piece, and it's not going to cost you anything to bring him back. I'm all good about bringing Vildor back as depth, but if you're relying him to be a number 1 or number 2, that would be an absolute disaster. Detroit Lions. You don't want that. One origin of JMO Cap, the Detroit Lions is okay. So that could be an origin. How many yards JMO next season? You know what? I'm going to go with 1,000 yards. JMO gets 1,000 yards. I think he does. So I'll go with 1,000. He breaks it. He was really starting to heat up at the end of the year, and you could just imagine now all off season. He's going to be in the preseason. Him and Jared Goff are now on the same page. We are on the same page. The numbers really start to blow up. We have assigned more than 40 dudes. Still, I don't think we have a full 53 squad sign. Yeah, we got to get up to, we got to get 90-man roster, and they'll get that. Al Torrey, what up, though? Appreciate you coming in. I think the Bears are going to make a move because they have so much draft cap and a salary cap, but won't be able to put into pieces together. Lions don't need a big name, just more dogs. Yeah, and they got the first pick in the draft, and they could take Caleb Williams, trade Justin Fields, and then they're going to save money with a rookie quarterback, and they can spend big. Yeah, they do worry me because they got Montez Sweat. What if they want to get a Josh Allen, or if they somehow snag Danielle Hunter? That would be disaster for Lions. That would be scary defensive line. Bears are going to spend money, and Ryan Poles has shown that he's willing to drop a lot of money in free agency. I don't think it's sustained successful when you do that. It could be successful for a year or two, but it's not sustained success because those contracts do come to bite you, and then you get the dead cap hit at some point, and then it really hurts. I agree that they're not spending big money for agency. Holmes is all but the point in the pressure of his approach. Yeah, it's what he's shown. He's shown that. And you don't want to be gigantic spenders. You want to do a selected free agents depth. That's it. That's how you build your roster through the draft. You don't want a GM to go out there and spend all the money that they got. That would be a bad decision to do. Vildor tooled Jerry's spot right away. He should be saw. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think Jerry even comes back. He was really starting to slip there. So they can move on from Jerry J. I like Jerry Jacobs, but man, he was really struggling. He was struggling bad this year, and we just can't have that. We can't have a situation where you're just getting beat all the time. That 1,500 yards, if he does that 9 drinks, he's fitting to have a great season, all pro. Bears will cap hell after a couple years. They will be in cap hell, but they're trying to do something right now, and I get it. But in about 2 years, they're going to be in cap purgatory. They're going to be New Orleans Saints bad. But if they get a rookie quarterback, they're able to do that. You know, that's the good thing about getting a rookie quarterback. I mean, you look at the San Francisco 49ers. When they got to pay Brock Purdy, they're not going to be able to have all those weapons on offense and defense. It's just not going to happen. You can't do it. Call me crazy, but they're mean Chicago might keep Fields as way more option in the top 100. We should be worried about Chicago. Well, look, here's the positive about if they keep Justin Fields. They're going to have to pay him. That's the thing. So their cap hell could be much earlier, maybe in a year, because at some point they're going to have to pick up that option, and they would have to pay Justin Fields a mega deal. And then all the free agents that they have, at some point they're going to have to cut those players in a couple of years because you can't pay for everybody. But if they do decide to do a move where they trade out of the pick, they get more draft picks, and that just makes them more dangerous. So there's positive and negative for what they do with that pick, with Justin Fields or not. They could trade him, get probably a first-round pick or a second-round pick or something like that. So, yeah. Hope you're right about JMO 9 drinks. Yep. That would be insane. 50. I ain't going to go there. 9 drinks, man. He drinking that Kool-Aid, dog. I would say 1,000 would probably be it, because you got St. Brown and you got Laporta, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, and who else they throw the football to. So it's difficult to do that. Bears going to draft all tight end this year. Yes, 7 picks of tight ends, or if they got like 9 picks, all tight ends. Remember that year when they had like 12 tight ends on the roster? What is wrong with these guys? What is wrong with these guys? Who is your? Let's see this. I'll get to you in a second here. A minute, really quick. 9 drinks. Who is your pick for defensive interior? I like to get Sweat. That is a pick that you could get in the 3rd round, late 2nd, maybe if they trade back. I would like to get him. I think he would be a quality interior next to Aleem McNeil. You don't have to do it in free agency. Get him in the draft, and it would be a cheap option there. But we do need defensive interior. I'm not saying it's the biggest need, but it is a need for this team. It is a need. Bugs didn't work out, and it is what it is for sure. For them. Oh my God! So let's see. Brad's going to draft BPA. Yes, he's going to do BPA, and this is the thing, folks. He's going to do best player available, and that's the route they're going to be. Let's just hope that it's BPA and position need that meet at the same time. What do I mean by that? The best player available is a cornerback, or the best player available is an edge rusher, or the best player available is a defensive tackle and or guard. If that's the case, that's called a win-win situation right there. Jackson's nice, big, 6'3". Hey, look, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. Got 3 interceptions, 7 pass defense. Oof, he's tall. Dang. Richard Sherman-esque. Let's see. Thoughts on TJ Tampa? That's an option for the Lions, maybe in the 2nd round, or if they trade back a little. If they trade out of the 1st round and say they trade like 5 spots back, that could be an option early 2nd round. TJ Tampa, an option for them. It's just the biggest question is will there be a run or not on the CB position? Don't know. That's something that they got to figure into their strategy. And I guarantee you that's figured into their strategy. If they're targeting one cornerback, if a run happens, they may trade up. Or if they're okay, they'll just sit back. But we don't know how this is going to play. It's so difficult when you're a pick at 29 than you're a top 10 pick. It's way different now. My thing with Fields, everyone knows he relies on his legs. Once that's gone, his decision making is questionable. Well, he's only a 59% completion percentage quarterback. So that's not good. Lions got to get better at these mobile quarterbacks, and that should be part of their strategy this draft too. Stop the mobile quarterback. The only position I double dipped on in mocks is DT and cornerback. Yeah, and you could do that. You could do guard too, guard/center. I could see a situation where they take one early and maybe a universal player in the 6th round or something like that. What about O-line? Anyone stand out to you? Again, I'm looking at BB. I think he's the guy who I like. He stands out to me. Be a perfect fit for the Detroit Lions 2nd/3rd round. There's a lot of corners in this draft. I don't think there's an elite top-end talent corner, but there's very solid players that you can get first, second, and third round. And you got to check out Raw Podcast. He's dropping prospects every single day. And look, if you want to get it done, you do that right there. So for sure. Zach Zinter, be a good option for the Lions if they want to do a developmental guard, in my opinion. Obviously, the Michigan guy, that's an option. They could double up on that position. But I think we should probably get a guard in the first 3 rounds, one in the first 3 rounds too, and then you could developmental, because we don't know what's going to happen with Frank Ragnow in the future. Kyrie Jackson, you have one of your favorites. Check him out. Do you have an idea of what can trade back? Brad, now I don't know, man. It just depends. Trades are difficult because you have to have 2 willing parties. We may want to trade back, and every team wants to trade back, but you got to have a party willing to trade up. What we can hope for, if you're a trade back scenario, if that's the guy who you want to get, is like, I want to trade back. I want to do that. And then you need to have a guy that someone would trade up for. That's what you need. You need to have someone to fall a little bit. Will there be a fall? I don't know. Maybe a quarterback falls, and a team wants to jump up in the first round to snatch him to get that 5th-year option. That would probably be the best case scenario if that occurs. Do you pay Josh Reynolds between $7 and $9 million per season? Would replace upgrade did running backs last year. I like him. You can't pay everyone. Yeah, I would try a little bit lower than that. I'd probably try 5.5. He's got 600 yards. So that's pretty much where I'd have him at, 5 to 5.5. Maybe he wants to come back here too. So I don't see him being coveted by every single team. That's not going to be the case. A lot of teams are probably going to look at it and say, well, he has a great connection with Jared Goff and Ben Johnson, so that could be in there. I don't think you have to go much more than that. Brad Holmes fills holes in free agents. Like I said, I believe you'll go online in the first, especially if Darius Robinson isn't available. They absolutely could. And again, if a guy falls, BPA. If a guy falls, BPA. But I know I was asked this last night on Crunch Time, and absolutely, if they took a tackle or a guard with the 29th pick, I'm not going to be upset about it, because we do have a lot of questions this year and next year. A lot. Taylor Decker, what are we going to do there? Jonah Jackson, will he resign? Graham Glasgow, he's not the long-term solution at right guard. Frank Ragnow, injuries. There's a lot of question marks. And we can't go into the season having question marks on the O-line. The O-line gets banged up, we're done. Like, we've seen what happens. We were really bad in the secondary. Any thoughts on who we should look at going forward? You can get a guy in free agent. I think this is what they should do. They should get a guy in free agency, not necessarily the top guy, who can go out there and at least start as a number 1. That's what they should do there, I think, because it's going to take a little bit of time, generally speaking, for corners from rookies to do well at the corner position. So I think they should sign a guy in free agency, whoever you like, or whoever they like. Okay. And then draft a guy to develop who can play out there and then just get better each game and will be the number 1 eventually. The real solution at the corner position is going to be in the draft. Kool-Aid McKinstry, one of those guys that I like that could be there. That's it. That's an option. The Toledo Torpedo could be there. That's an option. Again, we could say all these names, but we just don't know if they're going to be there, because I could see a situation where there's a run. I really can. That's my fear. Taylor Swift is better than Eminem. Eminem needs to stop. Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. Sheesh. Taylor Swift's annoying. Okay. Not her. I don't even really care about her. It's the media makes it annoying. I honestly don't care, but when they show her 17 times at game, it's like, okay, we get it. A couple strong corners would be great. I think disguising their zone coverage would help with those mobile quarterbacks. Give them front. Yeah, Kyra. I mean, you're right, man. Like, they got to get better with these, with the mobile quarterback. And that'll be interesting is how they do this in this offseason. How are they going to combat the mobile quarterback? They have to know that we are cheeks in that. And so they could disguise, but we need to get talent too. Fast talent, players that are patient. That's what you really need. And do better scheme-wise, like you were saying. Aaron Glenn's got to do better than that. We cannot allow these quarterbacks to just continue to destroy us. Can't do it in the run game, especially with the NFC North. Caleb Williams or Justin Fields going to be the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Okay, you could see a situation where they draft a young quarterback in Minnesota. That's a mobile quarterback. You got Jordan Love. He's not. It's not like he's a run first quarterback, but he can't get out of the pocket and can't extend a play. So you gotta have an option. We need Snead to start free agency signing. The question is, are they going to franchise tag him? If they franchise tag him, then you're not going to have a lot of these guys that are out there is going to be franchise tagged. So we shall see what they do there. I think the Lions take quarterback in free agency. They'll probably only draft one cornerback. Possible. But if they doubled up, I wouldn't be upset. That room needs to get redone. It's a bad room at the CB. It's booty cheeks. Where's Christian Haynes expected to be drafted? What do you think his fit? I don't know. I couldn't tell you right now. Really don't know on that one. I'll get back to you. TA, remind me, and Christian Hayes, throw that in our behind the scenes thing, and I can do a little bit more research on it while I'm doing there. Double dip with Hunter. Hey, I'd love to get Hunter. Y'all know that. We'll find out. My fear, and I think TA's fear is too, is Danielle Hunter could be a Chicago Bear because they are reportedly interested in him and they got money. And my God, if you had Danielle Hunter and Montez Sweat, oh my God. I see ups doubling dip in a cornerback. Seems like something Brad would do. They could. It very well could. Don't know if they're going to do it, but they could. I wouldn't be opposed to it because it's so bad. Dan Campbell didn't really rule out big money player. They're just going to do incredible amount of work checking characters. Same goes lower price free agents. Yeah, that's what it is. Let's keep it 100. They want the right players, but we're going to be bringing back our own guys. That's going to be the big thing here. I want Hooker to get more game time snaps so Ben Johnson can draft up trick plays with both quarterbacks. I'd like them to do that. I thought they would do a little bit when he was activated, but they didn't. I would like to see it a little bit. I would, but they may not. They just may not do that. They didn't do it when he was healthy, so they're not going to probably do it. Him getting snaps will be all preseason. That's where he'll get his snaps or if Jared Goff gets injured. Brad Helms will not spend a lot of money for agency. It's not what he does. 1 to 2 year deal. I would draft a plug-and-play cornerback and developmental. I would too, but I would definitely do that. And you're going to have, look, when you draft your rookie corner, whoever it's going to be, they're going to have their up and downs. And of course, we already know what's going to happen by game one. They're going to say whoever that guy is a bust. He's not good. Then he'll have a good game. Oh, he's great. And then he'll have a bad game. Oh, he's a bust, because rookies will have up and down seasons. We already kind of know that. Would you be drafted wide receiver in round 3? Would I do that? No. I'm not wanting to draft a wide receiver, but if they don't bring back Josh Reynolds and Donovan Peoples-Jones, yes. It all depends what they do with those guys. If they don't re-sign them, okay, I will be okay with them taking a wide receiver in round 3 or round 5, or right now we don't have a 4th round pick. If they trade it back and got one, I'd be fine there. But if they bring back Josh Reynolds and they bring back Donovan Peoples-Jones, there is zero reason to draft a wide receiver. They ain't going to make the team. I mean, it's just the depth would be there. So we don't really know what's going to happen. But ask me that questions in a couple weeks. If they don't bring him back, then they will do that. But if they do bring him back, they're not going to do that, because the player wouldn't even make the roster. Like, how are you going to make the roster if you already have like 5 to 6 guys on there? It's going to be quite difficult. It'd be a waste of a roster spot. Let's see. Hunter is 30. Yeah, so 29/30. That's why I keep saying he's a great fit for Detroit, because he is that old. So he's not going to demand a 5-year deal. You could probably do a 3-year deal with getting out after the 3rd year. So he's not gonna get a 5-year deal. So that's why I keep saying him. It makes a lot of sense. Ben Johnson gets conservative wrong time. It's time for him to correct it. Lions have struggled in the 3rd quarter for multiple seasons now. You're correct. 100% correct. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know if it's conservative or what, or the lack of adjustments in the 3rd quarter, but you're 100% correct. They got to fix that, man. Like, we're so good in the first half, and in the 3rd quarter, we fall off a cliff, and then we fight in the 4th. So we got to figure that out. I don't know why that is. Now, it did much better besides the NFC Championship game. They did do better in the second half of the season in that, or like the last 5 games. But you're right, man. That's definitely got to improve. And we got to stay aggressive the whole time. I do not like being conservative in any play calling unless you're up by a mile. Okay? Unless you're up by like an enormous amount of points where there is no comeback possible. Why would you stop being aggressive, man? Like, run the football, do exactly what you did. And if they make adjustments, you'll make adjustments. Y'all know wide receiver will be dropping soon. Can't wait to see it. Definitely checking that out for sure. Let's see. He's saying Jalen Coker. Yeah, I know you like him. You like him. Folks, we've been on for nearly an hour, and I got a lot of stuff to do today, so I'm going to get off here a little bit shorter. I appreciate everybody hanging out, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. With that said, folks, adios.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if